A regular knight has no magical power, but a holy knight is supposed to be strong enough to take out an entire army of regular people.
That makes sense.
And the higher rank holy knights are able to compete with lower rank demons and goddesses.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about something like that where like demons would be up there with the upper echelon of knights and shit.
Well, the lower level demons, but not the higher ranking
Oh,
demons.
demon
Uh,
lords and
the,
shit as a whole.
there are very few holy knights that can contend with a higher ranking demon. Very few human characters can contend with a high ranking demon. The only characters in the series, from what I have seen, that have been able to be on equal footing with a high ranking demon that is a human is one of the seven deadly sins, Escanor. Well, actually, three of the seven deadly sins. You got Escanor, Merlin, and Bond. They are powerful enough to fight with their magical ability. They're powerful enough to fight uh, the a demon, a high-ranking demon. Grandmaster Dreyfus, who was the second great holy knight of Leonis, and that's because of his magical ability, which basically lets him pierce through anything that he wills it to. So he has a pretty good OP and natural ability that lets him fight pretty good.
Right?
And
It's
then
pretty powerful.
Hendrickson, the second great holy knight, and that's because he's a druid. He uses spells from the goddess clan, which is super effective against the demon clan. And then great holy knight, the first great holy knight, Zaratras, who died before the start of this series, but he was supposed to be the strongest knight in the kingdom, the only knight that was comparable in strength to the seven deadly sins.
Story for everybody to aspire to type shit.
Yeah, so he was also a druid, but he also had power that put him on the level of of um of a seven deadly sin. And then you've got some other characters that you could probably put in the rank. I would probably say Gil Thunder might be strong enough to take out a high ranking demon now, um, but obviously he couldn't do it before, nor could Griamore Hauser. But then but then you've got other characters that are already dead, long dead, humans that fought in a war 3,000 years ago. They had more magical energy back then because the lands had not yet been divided, where the demon clan was on the earth, and then you had the goddess clan still around. So there was a lot more magic, so people were stronger back then. So able to be on the ranking list of the high level demons, but they still weren't able to contend with the tip top of the demon clan or the goddess clan. So you got the tip top, which the only human character that has been able to compete with anybody on the tip top has been the three members of the seven deadly sins. That's been Escanor, Vaughn, and Merlin. And Merlin, because her magic power is called Infinity, so she has literally an unlimited pool of energy to use her power with.
Oh shit,
And then Bond, the only reason why Bond is able to fight up against a high-ranking demon is because his magical ability is called Snatch, which lets him steal the physical attributes of people he's fighting. So he can take somebody's strength, energy, speed.
It's like a Mazo, pretty much.
And not only that, but he also drank the cup from the Fountain of Youth, which gives him perfect immortality. He cannot die. So he can continue to regenerate. So no matter if a high-ranking demon kills him or not, he'll just come back to life. And he can still just use Snatch to steal their physical abilities. And then there's Escanor. Escanor is an interesting case. He's the weakest character in the series at nighttime, but the moment the sun comes up, he becomes one of the strongest characters in the series. And at noon, when the sun is at its highest, Escanor reaches his highest power level, which he enters into the One, which not right now, which is supposed to be like on a god level strength. He he's basically strong enough because his power is called sunshine, which lets him gain more strength as the sun rises and lose strength as the sun sets. And then he got his power a mysterious way. It's not his real power, but it's a power so powerful that that single power was the main reason why the Holy War 3,000 years ago, which Escanor was not alive for because the power belonged to somebody else back then, the, um, that single power was the main reason why the Holy War ended. When the Goddess clan lost that power, they had no choice but to sacrifice their bodies and steal the demon clan away, and that's when humans started getting weaker. When those demons, when those goddesses, fairies never left them. Fairies were giants kind of roamed around, and everybody, all the goddesses were no longer there. And that power is almost exclusively the reason why it ended back 3,000 years ago. So Escanor, obviously, when he gets to that point, he's the strongest character in the series, able to compete with a god. So that's the reason why he's able to fight a high-ranking demon. And those are the only three humans that have that can fight with a high-ranking demon, unless you count Arthur Pendragon, but he doesn't really count because at the end of the series, he gains a power that kind of makes him not human anymore. So
Fair enough. I do need to check that show out though.
Yeah, I've been listening to all of this,
Like,
bruh. Holy
from
crap.
the manga. This sounds on point.
King Odin has a lot to say.
it's a really good show. The manga is obviously better, and season 3, then what Netflix calls season, is actually what we call season 1. Oh wait, season 2. But season 3 that just finished, oh, they fucked up the series badly. The animation was so bad, they ruined the best fight in the entire series. With the animation, it was just that bad. But you still get a sense of the scale of how powerful some of these characters are, even if the animation was bad. And now season 4 is supposed to be in production, though I think that it's actually just Netflix announcing that season 4, as Netflix calls it.
Oh, it's right on Netflix too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
It's a Netflix original. But I'm thinking that season 4 is is this season, because that's what Netflix calls it, and so that's what I think the announcement has been about. Other people are telling me that they're saying that season 4 is season 4 that now started in production and it's been given to a different animation team because this team fucked it up bad. I mean, they censored it so badly to where they were puking up, instead of blood, they were puking up milk, basically.
What? Oh, okay, I see. You're talking about like just the way it looked.
Yeah, they put it this way. One of the scenes that should have the best looked like one of those splash screens on a Nintendo DS game.
Oh.
Splash screen, that looks like.
You know like put it this way. You know the animated cutscenes from the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DS games.
Yeah.
Not the 3DS games, but like the Explorer of Sky, Explorer of Darkness level game. That's what some of the animation look like. Those cutscenes.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Hey, King Gogi.
Who was that?
Like Master Earth.
Master Earth X. Yeah. Hey, have you ever seen that anime? Have you ever seen that anime? That way you describe that anime you were just talking about, Yeah, I could definitely tell you would like that shit. And the lore. I mean, they in the 90s they had a movie. They made a live action movie of it. It was awful,
That might
but
be what
it was nowhere near as bad as the sequel that came out. Actually, nah, the sequel was better than the original one. But they had like Mark Hamill, the dude that played Luke Skywalker, he was on there.
Well, you know, Mark Hamill is also the dude that plays the Joker.
Yeah, the voice of the Joker.
The
Yeah.
voice of the animated Joker. The voice of the
Yeah,
Joker in this
he's
game, as a matter of fact.
He's deemed one of the greatest
He is not
Jokers ever.
one of the greatest. He is the greatest Joker.
Yeah,
And I
feel
would
you
say
on that.
Definitely
my second place is Jack Nicholson. I know
Yes,
people
mine
love
too.
Heath Ledger, but I do not like Heath Ledger's Joker. I don't like it
I
at
think
all.
I
Ledger
like
is
his,
good
I
with
like
that.
his Joker. I like
I
his
don't give him
Joker
purpose
to a
stuff.
certain degree. I like his Joker because he played a Joker like no other, like no
Yeah,
Joker
exactly.
we've ever
It
seen.
was its own
That's
character.
the only reason why I like that Joker.
Like he almost
And you-
redefined the
I give him
character.
props
Well, I mean,
for the
I give him props
antics
for that,
he
too.
pulled for it too. But as the gangster that fucking the Joker is known to be in the comic books, the animation, he's not no pushover.
That's what I liked about
He's a
Nicholson too.
gangster. That's
Really
why I
like
fuck
the
with Jack
comics.
Nicholson. Jack Nicholson's Joker had mobs. He had fucking goons. He had a fucking piece in his hand, bunch of weapons
Talking
around
rape
him.
shit, man. Like
He was a
the
beast.
Joker from the.
I really like that.
The first scene you see with Jack Nicholson as the Joker, he fucking comes out of the shadows, gives a handshake to the notorious mob boss, and fucking fries that dude with a handshake.
Oh
With
yeah,
the
with his
buzzer,
hand buzzer,
yeah.
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 I remember
Shake my
that.
hand with a
And you
blade.
know-
And then he
Okay,
made a
so-
joke. He made a joke out of that, and then took his girl after that.
Right.
And who do you
That's
think
the
is
one that
the,
knows. He just walks
who do you
away with
think
dudes.
is
the
and
best
says,
of my nigga?
"Normal."
Who do you think is the best Lex Luthor?
See, I don't really.
Brainiac.
I wouldn't have a
Okay.
good answer for that one.
I don't really know, man.
I'll tell you
what
who the
scale,
best
what
Lex Luthor
scale
is.
are you talking about, though? Like,
I'm talking about.
the
I'm talking about.
animation, or-
I talk about his.
Most
Any
entertaining
Lex Luthor
person.
version that has been animated or put in live action.
Alright, I'm gonna say Lex Luthor from fuck, what is it? Justice League Unlimited.
The Lex Luthor animated Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
from
the shit that came
Superman,
on.
the animated series,
Yeah.
and then the continuation. That's also my favorite Luthor. My second favorite Luthor would have to be the Luthor from Superman All Stars. But you want to know the interesting trivia about Luthor from the Justice League?
What?
It's Mr. Krabs.
Oh, Mr. Krabs.
Clancy Brown plays the voice of Lex Luthor
shit.
and Mr. Krabs.
Oh, that's dope. Oh yeah, I already knew that. Yeah, that. See, my way of
So
describing
Mr.
that dude
Krabs
is,
was a villain.
He's the dude that played on Pet Cemetery 2.
I didn't
was
see
the-
Pet Cemetery 2. I
Yeah,
didn't
he
even know
was
they
the
had a Pet
sheriff.
Cemetery 2.
I didn't know they had a second one. That's cool. I'm gonna have to check that.
Man,
was-
come on, y'all didn't.
You know, I was-
I'm talking
you
about
know-
the 90s.
you know,
I'm talking about the
I
ones
was,
that came out in the 90s, not that
Yeah,
bullshit.
when I was a kid, I watched the first one. And that
You know,
shit-
I was telling a friend of mine that back in the day, in the 90s and in the early 2000s, if you had something like Jeepers Creepers 2 on the cassette tape, on the box of the tape, it says, when Jeepers Creepers 3 comes out, you can get the movie for free. But when Jeepers Creepers 3 finally did come out, 20 years later,
yeah.
Blockbusters are all shut down. So
Yeah, I wouldn't want that shit. I wouldn't want that fucking shit if they even gave it to me free. I would have
But
tossed that shit out the
Jeepers
window.
Creepers 3 was not
Trash.
as good. But
wasn't
I
finished.
did like the lore, but it didn't do everything it was supposed to do.
Because it
I think
wasn't
they did too
finished.
much humanizing them.
Yeah, it wasn't finished. It was supposed to be called Jeepers Creepers: The Ruined Cathedral, and it was supposed to tell you what the creeper was and how to kill it permanently.
Yeah, I think that was the problem was that they tried
But
to
he's
make
a
it too vulnerable.
demon. But the problem with the Jeepers Creepers 3 was you get to see the people learn what the creeper is, but you don't get to learn what it is.
Yeah.
They learn what it is, but they don't tell you what it is. So you're stuck trying to figure out what's the creeper. That's the only reason to watch the movie is to figure out what he is. And then the other thing that messes it up is the fact that they made this a prequel to the second movie. So
I didn't like
it
that. I thought that was some
so
bullshit.
it throws it off because when you watch it the first time, you don't know that, but when you watch it the second time, after reading on the wiki, you find it out. Because I had to read the wiki to figure it out. It takes place 3 days before Jeepers Creepers 2 happened. That's why.
Oh, man.
That's
What
why
fuck
the
they
boy.
call it 3 for then? Hey, what the
What?
hell?
Sell more
Yeah.
probably.
That shit's stupid.
Yeah, and the problem is, I thought this would have been a great way to pick up where Jeepers Creepers 2 left off, because they say every 27 years on the 27th spring,
Hell yeah.
he gets the feast,
He comes
and they
back
could have
up.
just waited a few more years, because in a few more years it'll be 27
Yeah,
years,
when
because
it's
Jeepers
back on
Creepers
27, that would've been cool.
it's
Yeah, that
almost
would've
as
been
old
dope.
as I am, and they could have just come out with Jeepers Creepers 3, and then we would have had it. Jeepers
Because
Creepers
even
3,
if they didn't have
27
a
years,
good
and then release it on the
They could
27th
have
day of
showed. They
spring.
could have showed the knife. They could have showed the knife that's inside of him and shit. The little bolts and shit. Whatever the dude shot him with.
Yeah,
They
that
coulda showed
the
that shit
harpoon.
come out of him, pop out of him,
Yep.
and then he just regenerates.
And then-
Man, come on,
and
yo, they
then-
could have ended this shit. Then he
Yeah.
flies away and shit with the
And then
wings. yo.
and then that could have been where we found out what the creeper was, because if you go by the lore of the third movie, the reason why the creeper was so angry in the second movie and why he was hunting them down so viciously in the second movie was because of what happened in the third movie. When they grabbed that severed hand of his and it told them what he was and how to kill him, he got pissed off at that. And he killed it. He killed that other remnant of him, because that other remnant is like his good half. And then you have the fact that he was also running out of time in the second movie. He was running out of time, and so he was trying to eat as much, because normally he just likes to, create fear, find the ones that show the most fear, and then kill them. But he was pissed off because they found out who he was. They knew how to kill him, and he was running out of time.
You know,
And
there's
that's
a
why
theory.
it got
They
crazy.
got a theory about why. They got a theory on why the creep, why the whatever fuck Jeepers Creepers like comes after certain people. It's saying like it's like a disease or something, like an airborne disease, a bacteria that grows inside of them.
No,
And
I don't think that's not the
And
that's
Jeepers
not the
Creepers
reason why.
and Jeepers Creep, and that's why when you see Jeepers on the first movie, like if you look at the shit he had on the table, he had fucking experimental shit. It wasn't just fucking.
Oh no,
knives
they
and bodies
actually
and shit.
they explained that the Jeepers Creepers actually had a comic series that came out along with it back in the 90s.
Oh, that
And they
would've been
explained
dope
that.
to read.
They explained it in the comic. He likes to make art, but he makes art out of human body parts. And so that's why all of his tools are made out of
The
human
House of
bones
Pain, his little
and
House of
human
Pain.
skins. Yeah, his House of Pain. He likes to make art, and the reason why he goes after certain people is because he can smell a person's fear, and the more afraid you are of him, the stronger his attraction is to you, and that amplifies the abilities he would gain from eating you. Like at the end of the first movie, when he took the boy, because the boy had visions, the boy had things with his eyes, and so the
That's the first
creeper
movie.
was trying to make so much fear in the boy, and then at the end of the movie, you see that he cut the boy in half just to take his eyes out. He didn't even eat him; he just ate his eyes, because the creeper needed a new set of eyes, and so the creeper eats people, not maliciously, but selectively, based off of what he needs at the time, and based off of how much fear of him they have in him, because the fear fuels him, and he gets more attributes and powers based off of the amount of fear he puts in somebody. And then they said in the comic that he is well versed in technology. That's why his truck is fucking bulletproof. His tires are bulletproof. How he
Because
managed
he
to do
has
that?
he got hundreds of years, probably maybe thousands of years of fucking life.
Yeah, they don't know how long he's been alive.
Yeah, you gotta think, if it's a demon, you gotta think how long has that demon been here? And he had to have been birthed or
Exactly.
spawned or entered in this realm some way, some form. But damn, yeah, that's crazy.
So there's a lot of interesting lore about the creeper, but they just didn't give you any information in the third movie. The third movie
Yeah, that's trash.
was it wasn't even scary. I mean, I hate Jeepers Creepers because it petrified me as a child. But I watched the third movie, and I'm like, this isn't even remotely scary. It it was like it was basically, and the problem with the third movie is that it takes place during the daytime for the majority of it.
And the
And
fucking the camera, whatever the graphics of the camera, whatever they use, man, that's just I don't know. It just looked blurry, like I don't know, like it had a glare on it, like a sunny ray type of
yeah,
glare on it.
they did that. They did that on purpose. They did that on purpose to try
Like
to
it's a
simulate
flashback.
the flashback.
Yeah. Well, they did a great job of that because that shit got on my fucking nerves.
And then the other problem with it is that they made the creeper so fucking goofy in this one.
Yeah, comical. The first
Like
one,
he,
I
like,
loved the first
like
one
he
the
was,
most because it was
he's
more
throwing the
weird.
fucking spear. He's like looking outside of his eye, throwing it, and he's always done comical, crazy things, you know, like in the first movie and the second movie. But he didn't do them as much as in this one. And he's throwing the spear, and then he gets pissed off because he missed the girl with the spear. And
Yeah.
this one kind of show how strong he is a little bit more because he flipped the truck with one arm pretty effortlessly. But you know, other than that, you didn't really get a lot of of him. You didn't really get a lot of information about him, and he didn't do very much. He killed those two kids in the beginning. He killed, and then the kid that tried to escape his truck got killed by himself. Like his head got, you know, speared through. And then he killed the man that was underneath the truck. And then the man that shot up his truck with the Gatling gun killed himself because it bounced off and killed him. And then he killed the black guy that was also shooting him and messed his wing up. But he didn't really do very much. Like all the deaths that happened in the movie didn't happen because of the creeper, except for 3 deaths. 3 deaths happened because of the creeper.
Damn. Yeah, you set them up.
And so, I think it was okay, but it it was missing the part that made me want to watch it because I wanted to know what he was. Because me and my cousins, we've been talking about this for a long time. We were like, oh, I think he's a gargoyle, I think he's a demon, I think he's a Jersey Devil, and I was like, well, we were trying to figure out what he was, and this movie didn't tell us what he was, so we were pretty disappointed with it. And that's the reason why when it came out in the theater.
Horrormovie.com, they had a horrormovie.com. They had the bio, like not the bio, but the fucking. They had a little paragraph on what the third movie was gonna be about and shit, talking about how the sister from the first movie obtained some kind of power or some shit, some money or whatever, and she used her money to create some kind of crew to go
Yeah,
after
she created she created a
sister
radio
was
show
for.
and
Yeah.
created a crew. And
Yeah,
and then you don't even know that. You don't even learn that until the end of the movie when the
That's
credits
what
are
I'm
about
saying,
to
shit
roll.
was whack.
Like she's speaking her little story at the end of the fucking movie. Like that's the only way that you would know that the movie took place the same day that the first movie took place. Because at the end she's talking about it took my brother 27 years ago.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
But they didn't mention that at all during the movie, so you wouldn't have known about it. And then you could tell that the movie did not do very good because when it released in theaters, it instantly went to sci-fi on TV like a couple weeks after, instantly.
Yeah,
Like
some hot ass trash.
And
One of
then
the worst
from sci-fi,
movies
it went
ever.
directly to Netflix, and then now it's on Hulu.
We used to keep that shit.
And I was like, it was not what I was expecting of it. But that's mainly the reason why I don't watch horror movies to begin with. But the ones that I do watch are all old school horror movies. I don't like the newer ones. If I watch a horror movie, the only one that I really like is the Halloween series, the original John Carpenter series from the 80s, and that's the one I
I
watch.
own them all. I own all the Jasons, all the Freddys, all the fucking Tales of the Crypt, old fucking seasons.
Oh, I remember Tales of the Crypt. I used to love watching that on TV.
My shit.
That theme song used to get me every time. We used to know Tales
Me and my brother
of
used to stay
Tales
up.
of the Crypt was going on.
Me and my brother used to stay up hella late just to watch that shit on HBO.
Oh,
That's-
absolutely, because
show
sometimes, you
ass
know,
and titties and you go
yeah,
fucking-
exactly. Sometimes they show some nudity, and you know, we were young kids who wanted to see that.
There's enough death and jump scares and all that shit. Tales of the Crypt went hard as shit back in the day. Then they had that movie that came out. What was that shit? Tales of the Crypt, Demon Knight. If you have not seen that movie, I promise you, get off of here, look that shit up on your PlayStation 4, and watch it. Dude, you gonna come back on here and thank me. That's like one of the best fucking movies, underrated horror movies of all time. And if you watch it, you'll see what I mean.
Check it.
No, it's not an episode. It's an actual movie. It came out in the movie theater. Tales of the Crypt, Demon Night. That movie went hard. They got
I
Jada
did not.
Pinkett in there.
Oh, I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I've seen that movie. I think it had was a black guy the main
Billy
character.
Zane. They got Billy Zane's in there. He's the demon, the one that pretty much brings all the other demons into the movie. He cuts his hand and he starts to bleed from his hand, and he like throws blood on the ground. And from blood, and they're like all stuck in a hotel, but it's like an old school Mexican church. And like these demons are trying to get in there, and the only way they can stop demons from coming in there is this dude has a key. He opens up the key and he pours some blood on the doorway, and it activates like a blood shield, so the demons can't go inside. They can't pass that shield unless they'll blow up or whatever the fuck. But yeah, that shit go hard, bro. You ever get the opportunity to watch that shit?
You know, one of the horror movies that impressed me. There are two horror movies that impressed me in recent time. That was Lights Out. I thought that was a really well done movie. And
Short was better than the damn movie, just like Mama.
and Truth or Dare was a really pretty good movie. I was trying to figure out how they were going to make a children's game into a horror movie.
Truth or Dare
And they-
was a weak ass PG-13 movie, bro. You
Yeah,
need to
it was
watch-
a PG-13, but what I meant by it is it impressed me because they did a really good job of turning a children's game into a horror movie.
Would you rather it's on Netflix? That's just but.
It's better than what he just the Truth or Dare movie.
Would you rather?
Is that Sal?
They're fucking ass, my nigga. I went to go see that.
I never played Would You Rather.
the whole time.
I don't even know the rules to Would You Rather.
It's pretty much.
What's poppin'?
I mean, it's really just asking somebody to make a
The
choice between
worst
two
horror
options.
movie. If you ever want to laugh, the worst horror movie you can see is fucking Baba Man.
Baba Man.
Baba Man is the worst.
I remember when I first saw that shit
Baba
come
Man is
on.
pretty good.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's not
Pretty
bad.
good. That movie.
I actually.
Baba Man is the worst horror movie I've ever seen in my life.
Sinister. I like
Worst
the
I ain't watched
Sinister
it yet. I
movies.
just
Like I
remember
kind of
seeing
like
the
those.
trailer coming out.
Sinister's good. Sinister 1 and 2 is good. Baba Man is
They're
dookie.
corny, bro. I like even if they're corny, I like the fucking the point of the movie.
The only corny horror movies I like are from like the 80s. I like campy 80s horror movies.
I'm with you on
Like,
that. What's that
Oh, the
shit?
80s.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I like that. I like
That was the
fucking.
90s though, wasn't it?
I don't.
I'll tell you.
Nah, that
I'll
was
tell you
80s.
what.
Or it might have been. Yeah, it was 80s.
Damn, I thought
it,
that was
it,
yeah, you right, that
this
was an
this
80s.
last it that they just came out with.
I like all this. I like campy 80s shit. There's
I'm more
this
like,
one
I'm more
fucking
like Leprechaun,
Leprechaun, and the hood. Oh,
4, Leprechaun 1 through 4.
Bro.
The hood shit don't count because that was some bullshit. I don't know why they came up.
that's what we had. That was the first episode movie I ever saw.
It was supposed to be a parody
Pumpkin,
version.
I like pumpkin.
You know,
Yeah, I think it was
demons, like shit.
Oh no, I hate Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead.
I like
I'll tell
I'm like
you
a
why.
huge horror movie person.
I'll tell you why.
I like, I remember when I used to go, like my first and sophomore year, my junior year, I used to just run to my granny's house after school, and AMC, well, around like, the whole month of October, they play like marathons of like just straight horror movies. I love like Halloween and just all that horror
There was,
movie shit.
there was another movie
So, like,
that was similar to Pumpkinhead. I think it was called The Boogerman. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a monster that looked
yeah,
like
they didn't use
Pumpkinhead
CGI.
that they wound up killing.
There's a lot of movies just like that.
I don't remember what the
A lot of
name of the
movies
movie is.
use practical effects. That like, I'm fine with CGI as long as it's like perfectly good.
Wouldn't you be more afraid of something you can see or something you have to imagine is there?
Something I would have to imagine. Your imagination is better than anything else.
Especially if they, think about it, especially if they put the makeup and shit on this person and you never see it.
I see what you're getting at, but the way you phrase it is way, way, way.
They put all that makeup and shit on that little girl, and she didn't get a chance to see it
Yeah.
yet until it was that time for that scene when they put it on her. And then when they showed her herself in the mirror, it literally traumatized her. They had to take a break, like hours break.
Yeah, I like practical effects.
Coach her through that shit.
Yo, what? Could somebody ask me why Lobo's able to fucking shoot dolphins at me? What's going on here? Does he have like some
mackerel or something?
That's a classic.
I think it's just
That's
supposed to be
one of the
like
horror
goofy.
movies that shook the world. That's one of the 10 movies that shook the world.
Yeah, but it's not. I like The Exorcist. It's not in my scariest. Like, it's not in my top 5 scariest movies of all time though.
Of course
It's
not.
not. It's one of the most. It's one of the most influential though. Exactly.
Well, then you wouldn't be saying that, but I agree with you. It's
Of
not the
course.
scariest movie I've seen either.
It's not.
It's the scariest movie for you.
The scariest movie I've ever seen in my entire life is Hereditary. I just Hereditary. Hereditary fucked me up.
Hey, look, I give you props on that. When my girl watched that shit, and I made the clucking sound, but she started crying, bro. She was like,
What? That movie, and horror movies don't really scare me like that. But this is, I don't get scared easily. Hereditary fucked me up. Hereditary was fucking with me.
Yo,
It's just so cool.
You had to watch the clues in that movie too, like the shadows and
Yeah, there was Easter eggs throughout the whole thing. I like all types of. I know for a fact y'all seen like the old Goosebumps shows and shit. Read the old Goosebumps books and shit.
What you should do.
Remember those are classics. I remember like almost all the episodes of all the old Goosebumps and shit.
If you make it to level 3 like this one,
That's what I grew up watching. Even though I'm not a '90s kid, I'm born in 2000. But like,
you will make you start breathing, take it.
there was
the 90s horror movies are straight classics, bro. Even if they were corny.
you got
It'll heal you.
what was the other one? There was one that was like Goosebumps. I think it was Are You Afraid of the Dark?
You can go back to normal. So
Is that it?
Kings
Yeah,
of
Is that
the
what the fuck it was?
Dark was alright back in the day.
What the fuck? Momo just two-shot me, bro. Oh my god, I was about to.
That was the mid-90s right there. You're Afraid of the Dark,
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, Goosebumps was my shit.
You had to read that shit in 4th grade, man. That shit got on my nerves.
Yes, sir.
Them books was
Bro,
alright,
the
though.
one episode I remembered was Goosebumps. The action was ass, but I just fucked with it as classic as shit. I love it.
Yeah.
I remember the Haunted Mask episode. Are You Afraid of the Dark was classic.
Yeah, my
But
favorite
the one with the girl
was
was
the pool, the haunted pool shit.
yeah, yo, those are
That made me
classic.
afraid to get in the pool, yo, for a minute. I was like, man, fuck that shit.
I even watched like It depends on how far we go back. Like I used to watch, well I still do watch a lot of Twilight Zone. I like everything that's like suspense. I like everything that's like.
Bro. You can't tell me one episode. Yeah. I don't know, bro. I watched every episode of this shit.
There's one episode. I think my absolute favorite. What's my favorite episode? Shit, oh my god. Okay, my favorite Twilight Zone episode is the one with the fuck. Okay, so like everybody in the whole neighborhood would kind of team up on this one family, and they never came out the house or nothing like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Which you're in Fort Worth right now, but you can go.
They were calling them like aliens and shit.
I fuck with that. Well, they kind of were.
I always go to the enhanced.
The two episodes I fuck with the most on Twilight Zone is one is the dude, the book. The dude, the old guy that liked to read books and shit, of course, the classic shit.
Yeah, and the whole, everybody disappeared and shit. Yeah.
Alone in the world. Nah, they didn't disappear. They, atomic bomb went off and he took his break and
I didn't know that.
Then when he woke up, he opened the vault and the whole world was destroyed. So, that's my first
I didn't know that.
The one is, the broom or something like that, and basically this young dude, he crashes his car and he needs shelter. He goes into this shelter full of monks and shit, and the monks tell this dude not to open this door, not to release what's inside, because what's inside is the devil itself. And the dude was like, alright, I won't open it, y'all are giving me shelter, I won't open it. Then he eventually, the dude inside of the door tells him that he's not the devil and the dudes are crazy and shit like that. And the dude lets him go. He knocks the guy out. And then as he walks, each pillar he walks past, he starts to transform into the devil. Until he's actually the devil and shit. And then like fast forward.
Yeah, I gotta see that one. You know the name? You know the name of it?
Yeah, he's like talking to his maid. The dude's rich or whatever. He's talking to his maid. And he's like, whatever you do, don't release this broomstick from this door. And then it goes off that way. Like you just see like a close up of the door and it fades into black and then that's the end. That shit went hard though.
I've never seen that one. I gotta see that.
Yeah.
But
is it Netflix? I think Netflix got all of the Twilight episodes. Just like.
If you want to see like a bunch of horror movies, you just there's an app strictly for horror movies. It's like it's called Shutter. If anybody is like a hardcore movie, fucking horror movie nerd, like that.
A certain amount. Yeah, they have
but they don't have the rest of it. So you have to go to Hulu to get the whole thing.
A couple of years for them to actually add on the episodes.
And then my biggest problem with Netflix is they taking shit off. Like they used to have Kenichi the Mighty Disciple. I used to love watching that, and they took it off.
Take shit off to add
they take off everything that I like to watch. Like every time I'm watching something and I go back to watch it, they take it off. Land Before Time, they took it off. Midsummer Murders, they took that off. They take everything off that I like to watch. Monster Quest, they took that off. Hulu took Monster Quest.
Never ending story.
But you know what? In here. If you have Hulu, Tubi, and Netflix, you can watch just about anything because they each have different stuff on it. And Tubi makes sure that it has things that Netflix and Hulu doesn't have. And Hulu. I have Hulu plus Live TV and I was gonna get plus Disney Plus, but
this nigga Lobo is fucking alright.
Lobo is about luck because you have to. You have to be lucky enough.
This man Lobo whooping ass. Alright. Dude, is he a legend character?
Stay in the corner. Stay in the corner.
What is it that he was one shots with? I ain't got him killed.
He has 2 1-shots. They all come from his from the
bro, he has this one more. It's like a 1-shot, bro.
So the flame that shoots out from the bike. If you stay,
bro, I had him like if you 2-shot, man. They didn't 1-shot me, bro. Oh my god, bro.
But the problem with Lobo is the 1-shot comes out so quickly. that you don't have time to react to it. So you have to take them slowly if you're gonna fight. If you're gonna fight,
That's not Lobo.
Barely, yo. Don't use that help bro. Help me.
The easiest way I've found to kill Lobo
I
is to do it from behind Lobo's desk.
I had to because that DPS was gonna cut it.
Behind that desk. At least
as far as behind the desk. Isn't it like a barrier every time you fight a boss?
No, the desk is in the office. It's right there. It's the one by the window.
Am I the only one that needs a fucking vacation right now? I need, like, I want to be on a beach or some shit, man. I need something. Fuck all of this, I need a vacation immediately.
I know. I've watched the whole series, though. Yeah. I've watched the whole series. I've read the whole series.
Are you more of a beach or a pool person? Like, the cool ass?
Why is this bitch Solani in here?
I mean, everybody would like the beach more than the damn pool.
I like the beach. I like pools more than beaches, though.
More than the pool.
I guess that's supposed to be doing anyway.
Oh, I like the pool more than the beach, though, cause I'm not much of, I hate sand, I hate seaweed, I hate how the fucking beach smells. I mean, I don't hate the beach though, but I like pools more.
And how can you hate it?
And yell at people.
The beach stinks, man. It don't stink, but like.
I love the smell of the ocean, yo. Ocean water, all that shit, bro.
I'm still fighting this nigga Lobo. Look at this nigga Rage play it. Lobo easy as fuck. There's always some school